On September 16th, 1994, the town of Rua in rural Zimbabwe would play host to an event which would shock the world. Once described by a journalist as little more than a crossroads in an agricultural region, Rua was as unlikely a location as any for one of the most perplexing close encounters to ever be recorded. At 10 a.m. that morning, the pupils of Ariel Private School were outside on their morning lunch, while the teachers and faculty were inside the school attending a staff meeting. Nothing appeared to be out of the ordinary, until the students returned from their break and bombarded their teachers with stories of a UFO which had landed in the schoolyard. The teachers were quick to dismiss these stories as nothing more than the result of an overactive imagination, or perhaps some kind of joke. However, when the students arrived home to their parents at the end of the day, they were not so easily ignored. The following morning, a number of parents arrived at the school demanding answers as to what had happened on the schoolyard the previous day, and why they had not been contacted about what their children had supposedly witnessed. The news quickly spread to the local media, with reports of the incident being featured on the local radio station, ZBC. It was here that it came to the attention of UFO researcher Cynthia Hind. Hind was quick to visit the school and ask if she could possibly interview the children who had witnessed the incident. She was stunned as child after child recounted near identical versions of the encounter. They described one or more silver objects, referred to as discs, descending from the sky and landing in a field of brush just outside the schoolyard. Between 1 and 4 creatures dressed in all black with large oval eyes exited the crafts and approached the children. At this point, many of the children ran away, but some, mostly older pupils, stayed and watched their approach. The creatures then telepathically communicated with the children and warned them about the dire environmental state of the planet Earth before returning to their craft and flying away. After hearing their stories, Hind asked the children if they could possibly draw what they had seen that day. Again, she was shocked by the commonality between the sketches. Similarly, Tim Leach, a BBC correspondent in Zimbabwe, who had also been sent to cover the Ariel sighting, was shocked by the children's testimony, stating about the investigation, "I could handle war zones, but I could not handle this." Later in November of that year, Harvard professor of psychiatry John Mack travelled to Zimbabwe in order to interview the children, as he had a particular research interest in the psychological component of the alien abduction phenomenon. He was compelled by the children's stories, but had no firm conclusions on the case. Many of those children who witnessed the visitation that day still maintain the veracity of their accounts as adults, with some even claiming they expect the beings to return again someday, some living in fear of that very moment. To this day, the Ariel UFO incident remains one of the most chilling close encounters to have ever reached mainstream media, and it still remains unexplained. If you enjoyed this story and would like to hear 2 friends make light of it, please listen to our podcast, Unexplained Legends, available wherever you get podcasts. If you'd like more videos like this, please also like and subscribe.